I think we've all heard more than enough about the credit crunch this year. But not every business sector is facing doom and gloom. The tourism industry is of vital importance to the economy of rural Scotland. Over the next 3 weeks, Sarah will be meeting businesses who are pushing the boat out to weather the economic storm.
The sun might be shining now, but let's face it, the Scottish summer has been pretty awful weather-wise. But what about our tourist trade? Well, I thought I would experience both ends of the market and find out what sort of season the industry has had.
The Scottish tourist industry is massive. It brought in £4.2 billion last year. And with the recession looming, holidaymakers will be tightening the purse strings. So, is it all doom and gloom for the future?
Well, I think it's time I went in search of a holiday that doesn't break the bank and is eco-friendly at the same time. What now? We go for a walk.
Does this look a little bit familiar to you? Well, Carrara Station has been immortalised by the cult film Trainspotting.
It's not natural, ma'am. It's the great outdoors. This is the stop for the Lochosian Youth Hostel, right in the middle of Rannoch Moor. Now, the only way you can get here is by train, followed by a mile-long hike. So you have to be pretty committed. Hi.
Hi,
Nick.
Sarah, how are you doing?
Good to meet you.
And yourself.
We've got a break in the weather, we're in luck.
Wonderful.
I know. Should we have a grand tour?
Of course, come on.
Then. Oh, lovely.
This is pretty much the centre of the hostel. Multi-fuel stove, generates all the hot water and the central heating. Coming through?
Yeah, is this the gentleman's dormitory?
This is the gentleman's dormitory.
We'll start here then. How long has the hostel been environmentally friendly for?
It was rebuilt as an eco-hostel 2003, so 5.5 years now.
Ah, oh, this is nice. Dare I say it smells a bit better, Nick?
Ladies' dormitory.
Wow, what a view to wake up to.
It's not bad, is it?
How optimistic are you about the future, given that all the news at the moment is very doom and gloom?
I think we've every right to be very optimistic. I suppose we're at the bottom end of the market price-wise. I mean, I'm £14 a night to members of a youth hostel association. So maybe we'll get those from usually using the higher end of the market, and maybe they'd want to try downsizing a little bit and trying something that's slightly more unusual for them.
I mean, this year's been very successful. What indication do you have that next year might be the same?
Hogmanay is already booked for 2010. I have 2 weeks in May where the whole of the hostel is already fully booked. So it's looking good.
This is the sort of summer we've had, but pouring with rain. Why would you come up here and not go to the Costa del Sol?
I mean, look, we were just saying, we got on the train at Euston after a day at work and woke up in this absolute stunning place.
This low-impact tourism doesn't seem to have suffered much from the economic downturn. But what about the wider picture? How is Scotland's tourism industry faring overall?
We have seen a slight dip in terms of occupancy so far this year. So for hotel occupancy, it's down 3%. In terms of visits to visitor attractions, also a slight dip of around 2% so far this year.
What do you think the reasons are for this downturn?
I think that the cost of fuel has had an impact. And really the main thing has been the current economic situation, which I think is making consumers feel much more uncertain about what's happening. So inevitably that's going to have an impact on all sectors, and I think tourism will have been affected by that as well.
Is this a cause for concern across the board, or are some sectors more affected than others? What about the higher end of the market?
I'm very excited as I'm about to join the Majestic Line, a cruise liner with a difference. The Glen Masson is a beautifully converted traditional wooden boat, and it sails around the west coast of Scotland.
The Majestic Line is a very intimate way to enjoy the stunning scenery around here. There's only 12 guests on board, which means you certainly get well looked after.
We love the scenery in Scotland. It's everything we want from a holiday.
And these days, when you want a holiday, you want something special.
It's just what we wanted for a break.
How are things looking for next year at the moment?
Well, they're looking extremely good. We operate really on a 7-month season, which isn't all that long, and we already have 3 months fully booked of these 7 months, so it's very optimistic.
So the credit crunch hasn't had much of an impact here, but I do wonder if that is going to last.
Whatever happens, we're going to have our holidays, we're going to celebrate Christmas, but we're going to be choosing.
I would rather have 6 days on this boat than 16 on some of the ordinary cruise lines, because it's special.
Well, we might not have the weather, but I hope you all come back to Scotland anyway. So here's a toast to holidaying in Scotland.
Holidaying in Scotland. Yeah, very much so.
Two very different holiday destinations, but both are great. And both have reassured me that there's still a lot of optimism in the industry despite the current doom and gloom.
And